order, whatever time it is, a little after 7. And I think we're being joined by the students for the student flag.
Yes, as you know, our 6th grade students belong to the Broadcasting Club, and they put on a weekly broadcast. So we'd like to share that with our Beecher Road School community and the citizens of Woodbridge.
You can probably share. One. Right. And Dr. Stella, we can film through this, correct? You said we could film through this?
Yes.
Camera?
Yes, we can. We have permission.
Welcome to the WBRS News. This is Audrey from Mr. Chase's class.
This is Mandy from Mrs. Echeverry's class. Today is Monday, December 21st, and it is A Day.
There are no field trips this week. Tomorrow, the Windsor concert will be held at 3 different times throughout the day. At 7:30, your parents can come to watch you play.
Last week's word of the week was perseverance.
Do you remember what it meant? It meant not giving up.
Try to use the word of the week when you speak to others to improve your vocabulary.
The new word this week is resolution.
A resolution means a decision to do something or to behave in a certain manner.
An example sentence is, to ring in the new year, many people make some resolutions.
Try to use the word resolution and make one for the new year 2016.
Some great example of healthy resolutions could be,
Be friendly to kids who may have a hard time making friends.
read a book from beginning to end.
Be kind to your pets.
And just remember, you will need to have grit to make your resolutions come to life.
Good morning. This is your wellness wake-up call.
Oranges, grapefruits, kiwi, cantaloupe, and strawberry all contain a vitamin called vitamin C that helps us stay healthy and prevents us from getting sick.
The vitamin C in oranges and many other fruits and vegetables help your body heal if you get a cut or a bruise.
Enjoy your day the healthy way.
Lunch today is Belgian waffles.
On Tuesday, it is chicken nuggets. On Wednesday, there's deep dish pizza.
Weather this week is going to be rainy and cloudy. The temperature is going to be in the high 50s.
Are you excited for winter break? It's only a few days away.
Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you to Lauren behind the camera.
Thank you to our reporter, Michael.
Thanks for watching,
And see you in 2016.
Okay, thank you. Correspondence, Chris?
We had one email regarding some information about setting up a student cafeteria account. So I told them to email the office, gave them contact information, and then that was the last I heard, so I assume it all went well.
Okay. All right. Public comment, Marcia. None. Okay. All right, consent agenda. Do we have any extractions?
I would like to extract the minutes.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Okay. Second? Second. Okay, all those in favor? Okay. So, Lisa, do you want to?
I'm sorry, I didn't see who the second was on that.
Period. Yeah. Okay.
I just had a small issue with the way that the description of the update you received from Jean Purcell last week read in the minutes. I didn't think it was an accurate account of what we heard. So I was proposing to proposing to replace the first sentence and a half of what is in the minutes. It currently reads, in the draft minutes it reads, Ms. Purcell outlined the direction TAG is moving forward in as a result of the audit conducted in 2011, and the 2012 follow-up refinements in TAG services have clearly influenced the curriculum instructional practices and the regular curriculum, and it goes on to take language from the report that was in our materials last week. I would propose to have it read simply, Ms. Purcell presented a report entitled Gifted and Talented Program Sustaining Momentum. The report stated that refinements in TAG services, and then continue on as is in the draft. Because tonight here, we didn't really hear anything about the TAG program.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Lisa? And Lisa, Joe? Okay. All right, so we just need a motion to change the minutes. Do we need?
So,
Approve the minutes as
Move
As
it.
amended.
As amended. Okay.
so moved.
Okay,
I'll
all those in
second it.
favor? Thank you.
Abstain.
You abstain?
You abstain?
I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay.
I wasn't either.
All right. Okay. Alrighty, so
You
PT.
abstaining or you voting?
Yes, abstain.
You're both abstaining
Three.
as well?
3.
Okay.
All right, Tim, you're up. There you go.
All right,
Now that you've rearranged the furniture.
here we are, ready for the PTO update.
All right.
Not a lot since last month, but a couple things happened. We completed our Thanksgiving food drive baskets. We put together 21 baskets, got a lot of support from the community. We even had a little bit of leftover that we were able to send over to the town. So that was another successful event for us. We had our book fair, and that was really nice, very well received. And one of the cool things that Marge did this year was organize these book covers. I don't know if there are any in here, but all the students designed their own book covers, and we hung them up on strings to decorate the book fair, and that was the theme. And it was really nice. There was some very good artwork that the kids did, and it really tied them into the event well.
And then those went out into the school, right? Those are,
They went
Yeah.
around the
Yeah.
school. I thought
Okay.
they were going to bring some to the library here, and the town library
Yeah.
took some too, I believe.
that's great.
Yeah, we're going to put them up in the library here and also the public library.
Yeah, so, and we made $4,100, which is about what we usually do. It's a good turnout. And then upcoming in January, we've got 2 social nights and February bingo night, and it turns into the quiet period for the PTO for a couple months, which is kind of nice, actually. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Great, is there any questions for Tim or anything? Thank you,
Thanks.
as always, thank you, Tim. Okay, Dr. Stolla, you're on.
I always start by thanking the PTO because they do such fantastic work. And really, the book fair was a catalyst for making literacy, really enhancing literacy throughout the school. I think you understated the book covers. There were hundreds of them. And they were so innovative, creative, and it helped children to dig deep. So it was also, it organized the community within the school. So the impact of that type of activity is wonderful. We can congratulate you and urge you to continue that kind of activity. I'd also like to say that the joy of the season can be felt throughout the school through the many performances of our children. Class after class has invited parents and family members to come in, and through their presentations, whether it's poetry or drama or dancing or their own skits or music, have really shared the joys of the season, but make learning come alive too. It adds a certain magic to the school. So we thank, I know Mrs. Prisco joins me too, and the administrative team and teachers, in thanking our community and our parents for supporting these wonderful things. This is how we show our friendliness and our eagerness to have parents come and join with us when we have this kind of celebration. And the doors were open wide for them to come, with security of course, but with a warm welcome. So we thank them for that. The arts, we all know that the arts have played an important part through the centuries, as a conveyor of knowledge and ideas and so on. And that's what happens at Beecher Road School. The arts are, as we all know, are extremely important. And one example, and Mrs. Prisco, I'm sure, will mention others in her update, is the fact that our students, our young artists from kindergarten to 6th grade, are studying the artist Van Gogh and his famous painting, Starry Night. And they have examples throughout every grade level is taking a different theme. For example, kindergarten students created the town of Arles, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, France, and MAG is focused on the brushstrokes that Van Gogh utilized. In grade 2, painted the stars in the town of France where he did the painting, and onward with all the other grades. But students also get a peek into Van Gogh's life by talking and learning about some of the other events that were occurring, from Art Nouveau to the Battle of Little Bighorn, from the writing of Great Expectations by Dickens to the invention of the telephone. So again, that's a trademark of Beecher Road School, and our art teachers as well as our staff play a very, very important part. It's not just teaching an art class, it's reaching out to the multiple literacies within the school and collaborating with teachers and doing different kinds of thematic projects, and also offering our children opportunities through Art Studio and to get involved in innovative, creative kinds of things. So we're very, very grateful for that. What I'll do now, because we have a budget presentation tonight, I'd also like to say that once again, our summer program this past summer was extraordinary, especially when you consider the challenges that we had of the children didn't feel that, though. There was an excitement for them as they went to the high school, or some little ones termed college, for the summer school experience. We have Mrs. Salinardi and Mrs. Simowitz to talk about the extended way in this day program as well, and Mrs. Simowitz with the summer enrichment program.
Hello, everyone. We did have quite an exciting summer this summer, and Sandy and I have both teamed together over the last couple of years to make it happen for the kids, and we created, I think over the last 2 years, a great partnership with Amity. They were very receptive to having us there this summer. The kids loved it. We enjoyed the facility very much so, especially the outside pond life and the sports facilities. Everything worked out really well for us. Our numbers were up. My program is a 12-month program, so we go throughout the year. Sandy's is the summer program, and she was very excited because her numbers were up as well. So we did take advantage of the facility. We don't have a pond here to really fish in, but we had parents coming and teaching children how to fish. We did a lot of exploration. We have and I know Sandy would support this, a staff and faculty that's very excited about working our programs. They're extremely creative and enthusiastic, and the kids feel it. So they become really involved and excited about going to the summer programs. Dr. Sella, do you want me to speak at all about this year with the extended day program?
If you give a short.
I'll do a very quick plug as to what we're doing. We have Chinese classes again, starting up in January, heritage and non-heritage classes. That's something new for extended day. Danielle, who is our tech person, is offering the 3D printer classes. Extended day did purchase the 3D printer, and the kids are extremely excited. So we'll start with groups of 10 or 12 students, and they will experience the 3D printer, which is I think they're experiencing it now in technology. They'll experience it through extended day, and then we're offering another group each month so that everyone has an opportunity to take advantage of this new and exciting experience. And our play this year is Alice in Wonderland again. The kids asked to do that, so Drama Club is back through extended day, and our numbers are the highest they've ever been in
after speaking with Larry, to start the school year, they're extremely high. A very large group of kindergartners, and we're noticing that our 5th and 6th graders are staying with us. So I want to thank the board for supporting us. I know that Sandy and I do work throughout the year together as a team, and thank you again for your support.
Mrs. Salmonati, I saw one parent coming from Extended Day in the parking lot, and I asked her, how is Extended Day coming along? Quote her, she said, I'm ecstatic with it. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Can I ask you
Yeah.
one question?
Oh, yes.
Can you tell us when the play is going to start?
Actually, a flyer's going home tomorrow. We're starting in January, and this year we're offering it to 1st graders. Last year it was just 2nd grade through 6th grade. We're offering it to our 1st graders as well. So it'll start and we'll go through January, February, and the play will be in March. It's a little bit early. Excuse me.
Twice a week, like last
Twice a week. A little bit longer so that we can have our play in March. But I think the kids are excited about it. Yeah. Last year we had 80 students sign up for the play.
All right, did anybody else have any questions for Kathy? Thank you, Kathy.
Okay.
And I'll include that same information in my principal's message on Wednesday, just so it'll be on a little bit of information so that if you miss the flyer for some reason on the back, you'll have it there.
So my name's Sandy Simwitz, and as Kathy said, we work pretty closely together to build a very strong summer program, if I do say so myself. My program is just in the summer, and this past year it was only 4 weeks. The high school was only able to give us 4 weeks, and so we were really nervous before the summer started. But what happened is we had more offerings each week. We had more students signing up each week. And we ended up with the same number, actually 3 students net more than we had in 2014. In 2014, we had 507 student equivalents in our programs, averaging about 104 students per week. And in September, in SEP 15, we ended up with 510 student equivalents. We had 127 students averaging in classes each week. And you might ask, well, what is how are we accounting for that? And part of that is we had the Chinese program, and we had 3 one-week Chinese language classes. And they were for heritage and non-heritage students together, although they had more than one teacher in the program, so they could work with the heritage students perhaps more intensely and at a more advanced level than they did with our non-heritage students. We had 14, I think, new offerings. So in addition to the Chinese classes, we had a lot of interns that were really talented. We had a gentleman doing Irish step dancing. Our Spanish teacher unfortunately left. Her husband owns a martial arts program in New Haven. They came in and did 2 one-week programs in martial arts for our students. We had summer science. We had somebody looking at the movie Frozen and did crafts all connected to that movie, which was a big hit with some of our younger students. But the bottom line is we had 47 classes that ran. We had 67 that were offered, so 19 dropped because of the competition for the finite number of students. And here's the things that I think happened this year. I think there was more trust that we could keep kids safe and happy at the high school. The first year we were at the high school, and I have those statistics should anybody need to look at them. Our numbers dropped significantly. Our so you're coming to kindergarten parents didn't send their kids to kindergarten. I mean, we were probably 38 slots down with that. But in the second summer, the parents said, you know what, these folks have it together. They know how to keep the place safe for extended day. They offer us a full coverage, full day kind of program. So they came back, and that's why I think we did so well, even though it was a 4-week program. What's going to happen next year? One, we're returning to Beach Road School. Two, we're returning to a 5-week program. So we're going to be able to offer more programs, spread them out. We're going to have increased space and room availability, so we'll be able to, for example, take our kindergarten program, which may do with one room in the high school, and we're going to be able to expand now to what we had before we left Beach Road School 3 years ago, which was a minimum of 3 rooms. So we're going to be able to up those numbers and have a space for every incoming kindergarten student whose parents want them to be in the program. We're going to be able to offer more instructional sports. We're able to use the practice gym in the back of the high school for 1 week only. We'll have it for all 5 weeks this summer. So we'll be able to, like 3 years ago, we offered a program called Nothing But Net, where they played net games. We did basketball, we did ballistics, we did floor hockey. So based on the interests of our students and the availability of instructors, we can offer some sort of sports program every week. And we still won't be in conflict with the Woodbridge Rec Department summer camp, because that is something that we do not want to do. We do not want to conflict with the programs and offerings. I hope our being on campus is going to be more attractive to our own staff. We had a number of staff who 3 years ago, when we told them we were moving to the high school for the next 2 summers, they stopped teaching in our summer enrichment program. And for some of them, it was a matter of packing up things, bringing it over to the high school, and then repacking everything. I mean, one perfect example was Larry Hurwitz, who did a carpentry class, and there was no way he was going to take carpentry equipment and wood and all that stuff over to the high school and do it. I don't know if he'll do it this summer, but that's just an example of a program that didn't move because the staff just said there's no way we want to move. The last thing that I want to say is that our intention, I want to thank Dr. Stella for hiring me, because he's hired me for 2016. But what he did this year is he hired me a lot earlier. Last year I wasn't hired until sometime in mid-March. This year I was hired in December. And as a result of that, our intention is to have the brochure out a lot earlier. At the same time, for example, that Eli Whitney offers their summer programs, that the JCC offers their summer programs, so that our parents know that they have a place right here in their own hometown to send their children. A place that they know is going to be safe, they're going to have fun, they're going to have wraparound programs, they're going to be supported. We have a wonderful academic reading program. Our students with special needs will have a program that they can go to, and they can also interface with our extended day and summer enrichment program. So our intention is to have the brochure out sometime in February of next year.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Don't you
early.
think so?
That's nice, yeah.
So if you have any questions, I'll take them now.
Any questions for Sandy?
I'd like to add something, though. We had a number of staff members who really extended themselves in making the commitment to teach at Amity. But also space was a problem there. So it wasn't so easy. It was more than a question of bringing materials over. It was what kind of environment was there, and was it suitable for the type of offering that we had for the children. One thing I could see is that we will have to build a pond at the school in the back there, and put ducks in there, and fish, so our kids could go fishing, and frogs, so they could see them. But I'd also like to highlight, we focused tonight on summer enrichment and extended day. We had a special ed program at Ezra Academy that was fabulous, and just as we thank Amity, we thank Ezra Academy for opening their arms to us. And then a wonderful program too, that tied in with some of the mandates that we have too, for children who needed support in literacy, was our literacy camp. And Mrs. Lacuzzi, who's here with us, did an outstanding job with her staff in servicing those children. It was a bridge between the year that ended and the year that would be continuing. And they made it lots of fun for the children too, so both things happened. And we tip our hat to the recreation program too. They did an outstanding job, really an outstanding job. So if you put it all together, our children had a lot of offerings at Amity High School. So thank you, community, thank you, teachers, and Amity and Ezra Academy for their work with this year.
And before I leave, I want to reiterate what Kathy said. The Board of Ed made a philosophical and a financial commitment to support our programs for the 2 years that we were off campus. Those programs would not have been able to run without your support. So I want to thank the Board of Ed, I want to thank the administration for the support that they gave us, and we're looking forward to wonderful things this
Being
summer.
home.
Thank you.
And air conditioning.
Thank you.
Yeah, and air conditioning, that's right.
Air conditioning.
Yeah.
One thing I'll mention, but it's in the discussion stage right now. Bethany Elementary community has reached out to us for initial conversations. We'd like to invite them to participate in our summer programs. Bethany Elementary is going to have some construction this summer. So they reached out to us and we embraced them and said, wouldn't it be nice if our children here at Beecher Road School had their little brothers and sisters from Bethany sitting alongside of them. So we'll keep you informed as to the progress of that there. So we're looking forward to that. And now let me turn this over to Mrs. Prisco to give the Beecher Road update.
I thought you were going to. Well, I was checking them off.
We'll probably take in all the items.
You might have seen me crossing these off. Good evening, everybody. So I do concur. This season, we have had some wonderful performances. So I do join in not only thanking the students, because they worked really, really hard, but to thank the parents and the teachers, because I know parents sat and listened to lines, or they sang songs over and over and over again. But those memories that were made in those practices at home and at school, and then I will steal a line from Ms. Sherman, little bundles of cuteness in first grade that stood up on those risers or the stage and did their play or sang their song, and it was just a moment of pride for the parents, but for the children as well. So we thank you in working with us. I had the opportunity this weekend to hear our choir sing on a very cold, blustery day downtown New Haven as part of our partnership with Yale. They were on Broadway in New Haven, but they had parents and people that were walking and shopping got to stop and listen to the children sing. So Ms. Mona Keene was directing our students, so we thank her, and for all the parents who took time, especially at this time of year. It's busy, but they were so excited to be there performing. So thank you for that. We have another thank you to the Rotary Club, because once again, their generosity and brought our student dictionaries to 3rd grade. And one of the highlights is always the longest word, but this year it was the word citizenship. And what does that mean? And so that was a word that the children were asked to look up, and Ms. Sherman was there representing the administrative team for Beecher. And what does it mean to be a good citizen? And so part of being a member of Rotary is giving back to your community, so that lesson was tied in with the receipt of the dictionary. So we say thank you. And so we talk about giving back. Every morning you will see 6th grade students kind of meandering their way down to kindergarten and the 1st grade wings. And so part of Owl Pals, Owls, Beecher Road Owls, supporting our 6th graders, our oldest students, supporting our youngest students. It could be with a game, learning turn taking. It could be practicing some words that they're learning, some math that they're working on. But that buddy that they have, if you hear the little ones talk about it, they're excited. If you hear the 6th graders talk about it, I think they get just as much out of it. So we thank our 6th grade teachers who are flexible enough to let their children go out once or twice a week in the mornings right upon arrival to support our youngest, and our 1st grade teachers and our kindergarten teachers are very, very appreciative. So with that, I wish you all a nice long break. I hope you have a wonderful time with family and friends, and I know that the children are ready for it, and maybe some of the adults as well. Any questions for me?
Thank you, Mrs. I will be giving my budget presentation. Before that, I want to just take this opportunity to wish the members of the board and our entire Beecher Road School community, as well as the citizens of Woodbridge, a holiday season and a new year filled with joy, laughter, peace, and good health. Thank you for all your support for our children.
Get it out of the way.
Good evening, everyone, and this is the time of year where I make the superintendent's proposal, present the proposal for the operating budget for 2016-2017. Our mantra has been, since I started as superintendent 10 years ago, when we started my 11th year in January, our mantra has been, first of all, one of always improving the quality of education for our children. The Woodbridge demands that, and our children deserve it, so that's always been a key focus. And the second is, we all live in the same town, a town that supports our school, so we're always mindful and respectful to the taxpayer in the way we go about fashioning our budget. Well, so what does the budget do this year? As always, it supports the mission of the school, the priorities and the needs. And we like to say that Beecher Road School does it all. We have our board goals, our school goals, and they're very wide. We have a focus on differentiated instruction this year, following the individual pathways of children. We want to move more and more in that direction. There's a very strong math initiative. We had Tri-State visit us last summer. During the summer, there was work as well as the previous summer. We have a 2-year action plan in mathematics. There's constantly updated curricula. Our balanced literacy model continues to prepare children to be lifetime readers and writers and thinkers, lovers of learning. The arts, as we've mentioned, are our core area of our program here at the school. New science standards have come on board that we will be implementing. And STEM instruction, which is geared to prepare children for their future, is something we'll be focusing on. That's the combination of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There's embedded professional development. Oh, got to keep up here. And, as we say, Beecher Road School does it all. The academics are important. The arts are important. Physical education and health is important. World language is important, and cultures. And as important as academics are, so is the emotional and social development of our children. There's the support of our intern model, where the children know who the interns are, where they're part of our staff and our faculty, and there's someone to turn to. At the same time, we have membership in the Tri-State Consortium of high-performing school districts in the New York metropolitan area. So this budget supports it all. We start from as close as we can to a zero base, as much as possible, and any request that's granted has to be aligned with school district goals and mission. And again, the budget is fashioned with the respect for the taxpayer, and let me give you some examples. We have hundreds of accounts. We scrubbed every account with this in mind. There's the nice to have, there's the necessary, there's the valuable. It's a tough budget year, as most are, so we looked at what's the valuable and what's the necessary. Some of the nice to have, maybe we could wait for another year. So we reduced the number of accounts, other accounts increased. We negotiated with employees group to have that balance, the needs of the taxpayer with the needs of the school district and our negotiating unions. We negotiated 3 contracts with our administrators, with our teachers, and with the CILU, which is the cafeteria workers, the secretaries, and the custodians. We used our managed staffing grid to guide our hiring practice in a way that would assure that we bring quality and a good distribution of staff, so we don't have 1 year in the future everyone leaving at the same time, in a cost-saving way that assures quality at the same time. What does this budget do? It includes all obligations. There are lots of mandates, special education mandates, the accountability plan at the state has mandates, the teacher administrative evaluation plans, all the costs that come with the implementation of Common Core curriculum, instructional practices, and also implementation of the state standardized test, the SBAC. That's included. And as I mentioned, the collective bargaining and all other contracts. So what does it amount to? Put it all together. This is what we're asking for. $13.8 million. That's a 2.48% increase. Let's give a little background. The history of BOE budgets. And if you can't see it, I'll kind of narrate a little bit. We go from the year 2006 up to 2017. There are many years that are under 2%. Some years have 0%. One year had 9%, 2008. Why did that happen? Because that was a year where there was unexpected special ed cost, and the district had to turn to the town, and an allotment of new monies had to be given to the district. But the average increase over the 12-year period is about 3%. And the past 5 years has averaged about 2.4%. This proposed budget calls for 2.48, which is in the ballpark. Now, enrollment has a lot to do with budgets because it's about children. At this time, the enrollment is 777 students. Folks, we have 8 to 10 students that we know already that are coming in January. So we have children who come in during the year. Of course, we'll welcome them with open arms. Projected next year, 785. The number of regular classes that we're asking for, 42. And there's a nice breakout this year of how the children are arranged. We don't always have it so evenly distributed, but it's good. And all of this meets the, let me go back here, meets the Board of Education class size guidelines. We don't have the smallest registers in the state. We don't have the largest. But we have a good number that gives the teachers a chance to do with the many things that they're asked to do. And we try to keep them within those boundaries, not to go over them. Beecher Road School, from our analysis, and things could change, and every year we'll come back to you with new data. We're bucking the trend. And districts around the state are losing a high percentage of students. But enrollment tends to be positive in Woodbridge. Projections to 2020, and again, we'll let you know each year how it goes, is we anticipate 80 plus students arriving during that time. Now, let me give you an historical view of the trend. And we'll start with the year 2010. Watch carefully. You can't see, it goes from 723, 737, 744, 768, 796. It's a little bit, then we expect it to go up. Now, we're not firing the demographer, but if you look 5 years, I know what Steve's going to say, 5 years before, when it says 723, the demographer had said we were going to be down to about 650. And, but it's not his fault. It has to do with the moving vans, the vans that either come in or out of the district. And they've been coming in. There's a slight dip this year. The 771 is an October 1st figure. We're at 777. We expect 8 to 10 children in January. And I venture to say that we will get some more during the year, too. Here's a breakdown of by grade level. It's hard to see, but I'll highlight a few points. We have the children at Beecher Road School, and we have outplaced children. For example, in 15-16 this year, in October 1st, we had 771 and 5 outplaced children, so 776. Next year, we're projecting 780 with outplaced. The year after, 810. By the way, that's 780 before I heard 10 children coming in January.
Dr. Sella, can you define what outplaced means?
Yeah, outplaced means, I'll go into it. Save that question and I'll answer it. And if I don't, you come after me. Okay, the next one is 830, 843, 859. Now, can we be sure exactly of the years ahead? That's our projection, and we try to be a little more conservative because I think we had we were very hopeful this year too. We thought but it worked out well that it didn't exactly get our projection this year. Now, if we talk about budget, this year's budget, we have to speak about special education. Now, let me mention this here. Every special education student has the right, it's by law, to be educated in their neighborhood school, the least restricted environment. It's the law, but it's the right thing to do. And our special ed staff and our administration and teachers, they do a marvelous job. You can see so much success. And you have many children at the school who in years past would have to be sent to another educational setting, are very well taken care of here at the school. So we have nothing but praise for our staff. However, if there's a situation where we can't, after looking at all angles, trying everything, meet the needs of a child, then we have to find an environment that does meet that. So that's a very careful process, and it's a process that takes place over time. And when I mention increase in cost, it's the way our funding system is geared. The onus is on the town. I think it's an unfair funding system, but that's another story with that. But at this time here, we've had substantial cost increases. Tuition for outplaced students has increased by 64%, $163,000. For transportation, by 58%, that's $77,000. So if you look at it, approximately 72% of the net budget increase is linked to outplacement and transportation. Put another way, if the special ed costs were held steady, or if they were picked up by the state, we'd be looking at a 0.7% increase rather than 2.48. So I think it's worth repeating, and I think it has to do with the way special ed is funded. 72% of the net budget increase is linked to these two special areas, to tuition and transportation. Now, again, we focus on respect for the taxpayer, but we also focus at the same time on quality of education. So we're making two requests. We're asking for the addition of a 0.5 art position. The current art staff, there is 1.5 art teachers for nearly 800 students. That's a student ratio of approximately 500 to 1. Additional half position brings it down to about 400 to 1. But now all classes are covered for lessons, but we go beyond that. We want art studio for all of our children. We want art enhancements. We want our art teachers, we're looking at more partnerships with the British Museum of the Arts and all kinds of cultural centers too. So it would be a very, very good move, and I think it's a modest move. The budget also asks for a part-time maintenance worker. This would be 20 hours, no insurance, no retirement benefits, 20 hours, and we believe it's cost-effective. It will reduce the need for, or some of the cost for contracted maintenance requirements. Reduces the need for overtime when our job has to be done and there's not enough time during the week. And also, remember, we had an upgrade. We didn't have a new building built. We have a large school facility with hundreds of feet of old pipe and things like that. And maybe one of the reasons for some of the urgency in the update was that there wasn't enough maintenance done on the building. So that's what we're asking for. If we look at our staff right now, it's approximately 129 full-time positions, and our focus is on our certified staff. We're asking for a 0.5 with that, and we're also asking for a 0.5 with the maintenance down here. And again, we have a good support staff for our classroom teachers. We have a medical model. It's not just one teacher in the classroom, it's a whole team supporting the child. So let's take a look at let's focus. We've done many presentations to the board, and we will be doing more. So in this presentation, I'm focusing on some of the numbers here. Let's look at some of the increases and reductions in the budget. Okay, if you take a look at this here, you'll see the change in the extreme right-hand column. One of the areas, the big area, is 17.3% in purchase services. Now, the state accounting system has three types of services: professional and technical services, property services, and something called purchase other services, and that's what this is here. And that includes tuition, it includes transportation, so that's where the big costs are. It includes interns and insurances, all kinds of insurances. Okay. What else could I tell you? Professional technical services, there's an increase of 3.6%. That has to do with a number of professional services. OT, PT services for special ed, IT support. It has to do with professional development, legal cost, software support, substitutes, and we were hitting that area this year too with some things. There's some heavy things. But now let's balance this. So we had a lot of accounts. Some went up, but some went down. And let me take some of the ones that went down and show you what they are. Benefits went down 2.6%. Now you might ask, how could they go down? How can insurance go down 2.6 when our insurance premium has gone up from 7% to 12%? Well, a big thank you to our teachers in our WEA, because through collaborative, hard negotiations, but collaborative ones, and our administrators and ICLU, we've moved to another insurance model, HSA, which has brought down the cost. So that has contributed to this year. While the premiums have gone up, the cost overall has gone down. Then we have property services. What are property services? That's utilities, electricity, water, repairs and maintenance, building improvements, and other purchase services. That has gone down, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, and furniture and equipment, and we'll find another way of getting needed furniture and equipment. So that brings it to 2.48%. By the way, we have Art Poole to my right, who's our interim business manager. We're very fortunate to get him, a man with a lot of experience who has helped us with this budget as well. Where do the dollars go? Here they go. Salaries and benefits. In most educational districts, it's 80%. We have 78.9, close to it. And again, 3.5% overall increase with other purchase services, again, transportation, insurance, tuition, interns, and then small slices. Education is a labor-intensive business, so it's about people, and it's about people serving our children. That's the most important element, so that's why that's a large percentage. Let's take a look at salaries and benefits. Okay, this certified staff has gone up 2.4%. But that includes the addition of an additional art teacher, as well as our recent negotiations. And all other, the 3.4, includes the addition of a half-time maintenance person and all the other negotiations that were completed. So the total salary increase is 2.6%. Benefits have gone down 2.6%. So the overall increase in salaries and benefits has been 1.3%. If we continue with the dollar summary, we just there are hundreds of accounts. We highlighted some of the larger ones. Utilities have gone down nearly 13%. Heating down 18%. We've continued to gain with heating. But again, transportation and tuition have gone up 10% and 64%. Overall, 2.48. What impact has the facilities upgrade had on the budget? Well, we could give you some preliminary thoughts, but that will be seen as we move along. And the numbers we used, counting on Art Poole's experience and Al Pulo's experience and my own, and looking at the engineering reports, and we came up with some figures. Electricity and water, conservative estimated that there will be a savings of $30,000. Heating, $12,000. Building improvements at this time, because we've had the upgrade, doesn't mean that we won't need any building improvements in the future, but no major ones. And maintenance has stayed steady. So that's $53,705. But I'd like to mention too that our electricity savings are with the additional energy used by the new air conditioning systems. And again, our estimates are based on engineering reports and our own expertise of our business people. The financial is important. Equally important is the environmental. And that's our message to our children, and I know our community backs this message. What's the impact on the environment at Beecher Road School? Healthier air quality, better lighting, more conducive to teaching and learning, and we have lots of testimonies from our teachers of what a difference it makes not to have stuffy classes where children are lethargic at certain times of the year, things like that. And very important, it reduces BRS's carbon footprint on the world. And that's a theme that we want to magnify with our children as we go along, because that's going to be important in their future. Now, not everybody realizes, but a school district, the Woodbridge School District, generates money for the town as well as receiving money from the town. How is that? Well, there's something that's called special education excess cost. So the state will return some money on children who are outplaced, tuition and transportation. But there's a formula. It's usually about 4.5 times the per pupil cost, and the state will use a formula of 70-80%, for example. It could change each year, and returns that. It's supposed to go, the money's supposed to go to the district, but we have an agreement with the town. It goes to the town, but whenever the district has unexpected costs, then we turn to the town and say, here are the unexpected costs, and the town takes care of that. At the same time, if there are unexpected savings, we say there are unexpected savings, and that money is returned to the town. But so let's look at the history of this year. And by the way, after this, ask any questions that you want. Oh, the other one too, I'm sorry. The other is through grants. We have, like other districts, not as large as the urban areas or some of the larger districts, but we do get Title I, Title II, Title III grants, and that amounts to about $319,000. And there's something called educational cost sharing that all towns get. It's a very complicated formula, and it's and the town has gotten $732,000 for it. So the district has generated over $1 million for the town in revenues towards education, of course. Now, excess special education costs. Let's take a closer look at that. And there are a lot of numbers here I want to walk you through. We're going from the year 2004 to 2015. So the column on the left, the extreme left, it shows the excess special ed monies that were returned to the town on the basis of the costs that were paid by the school district. In total, over those years, the town received over $900,000. Now there were years, remember when I said when the district had to ask the town for monies because there were unexpected costs? Well, from our calculations, that happened twice. In the year 2004, and it was for $13,000. And 2007, it was for $281,000. And this year now, we will be asking, right now, the deficit is $350, but through different cost savings, we've been able to work that down a little below $300. But we won't know the final figure until probably April or May. Now, there's been a time when there's been some surplus that the district has returned money to the town. That happened as recent as 2014, and we returned $73,000 plus. But the town turned around in partnership with us and said, well, let's reduce some of the capital budget and take some of that money and put it towards technology and kitchen equipment. And there's another source of revenue. The Board of Education has returned surplus funds to the town over those years. And we list all the years and how much. The total return to the town from 2004 has been over $1 million. Let me put it another way. Over the past 12 years, the school district has returned over $1 million to the town in surplus funds. During that same time period, the state has reimbursed the town nearly $1 million in excess special education costs. As agreed, during the same period, the Board of Ed has needed to ask the town for about $300,000. And this year, we will be asking the town for this, not for the same amount, but for a large sum of money because of unexpected costs. Now here's, and I was thinking about this here, and I recently read a good book by Sir Ken Robinson, international researcher, scholar, intellectual, in his book Creative Schools. And here was a question he posed. What matters in an education that is worthy of the lives of our children, the lives our children will live, and worthy of the world we want them to live in? And that's a deep question to think about. And his answer was, the answer is to nurture communities of creative, joyful, compassionate learners who use courageous and innovative thinking to build a harmonious and sustainable world. That's what it's all about, and that's what we're trying to do with your support. So we'll be open for questions. Let's give a thank you though to our school board members there. Big thank you.
I think given what a lot of, us, thought about what was going to happen for this coming year, the fact that 1.5% of this or a little more is special ed, and, about 1% is actual increases to the budget. And there's reasons for that. It's the retirement program, the savings you outlined and everything else. But I think this is a very, it's a better place that we're coming in than I thought we were going to. So, does anybody have any questions for Dr. Stella? Okay. That's it. Okay.
You have a question, Steve?
No, I'm just laughing. Because you look at me like I'm going to have a question.
I figured-
He tries to jump in ahead of time. Steve's going to ask
I figured
about
4 or
this.
5
and
is
then
good question.
Yeah.
But thank you all, and I thank our pool, and I thank Al Pulo too, who we've been in telephone contact with too, and our administrators who have been very key people in helping
We
our teachers.
need a motion?
Move that we approve the 2016-17 budget as presented for submission to the boards of selectmen and finance.
Wait just a sec. Lisa's looking quizzical.
We still need a motion. to
All right,
discuss
all
it
right. I'm
anyway,
sorry.
so-
Who seconded? Lynn? You did? Chris? All right.
Now, more discussion?
No?
Go ahead.
She looked
The
quizzical.
point that we discussed at the finance committee is actually not yet correct.
Oh,
So I think we need to speak
the
to
initial numbers.
Which ones was that now?
Remember the
The superintendent and
detail?
business manager salaries.
Yeah.
Maybe we could talk about that a little bit. Art, can you comment on that? On superintendents and businessmen salary, because we'll make any correction that, we're trying to be very transparent with this here.
Well, in the budget, on page 19, page 19, we put in the superintendent's salary for 2015-16, which is this year, this present year, and the business manager's salary, what they are actually getting this year.
And I think it's the middle column, what was budgeted in 2015-16, that is not correct. If the budgeted number is in fact the same as the actual number from 2014-15.
What do you mean?
Well, we never budget for an increase, so.
What we budgeted for in 2015-16 was that actual number in 2014-15.
Okay, so this was actual budgeted, no, because the budget for 15-16 is after the increase that was given at the end of 15. Oh, no, that wasn't in the budget, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I went back and I checked the actual
Yeah.
budget that we approved.
You know how it always just,
Oh, I see what you're saying. So there was an increase that was given in June after the budget was passed.
Exactly.
right, so the 15-16 budget.
Oh, so I understand what you're saying. So in the budget, it wasn't
Itself.
this year,
Yeah,
but in June
just like
it
this year's
was.
budget, just like
Right.
the budget we're considering has the actual numbers for this year.
Yeah. So I think we could easily make that change. I understand now.
Yeah, no, and
What you're
and I
saying.
only, and I point
won't
out
affect-
because it does change that 2.48% number to 2.56%. So it is more than cosmetic.
Because the budget for 16-17 doesn't change, right? Because the actual for 15-16, we don't budget for in 16, right? So your problem is with budget 15-16 because it reflects the increase. But,
Exactly, and therefore, it doesn't reflect any change. You know, that 0% column affects the bottom line.
right, because, typically we don't budget for the increases
Right.
because they're not contractual. But
So you're saying the budget 2015-16, when we actually pass that budget, that number's not 179?
Right, and that budget is 173.
it was lower. It
So
was the prior
therefore,
year.
in the
I got
purchase
you.
rate column, the 0% column, that should not be a 0%, it should be a number.
Right.
Oh, the change from,
173 to
And it
179.
carries obviously all the way through.
Right.
okay.
That's why it matters.
Okay, but the actual number is included in the total. So the actual budgeted number for 16-17 isn't going to change.
Right.
No, but
Okay.
It
the
doesn't change
increase
the budget
changes.
request. It only changes the percent.
Oh, because you're looking at
If you're looking from budget to budget,
Okay.
budget to
I
budget,
see
it
what
makes
you're
it go up a
saying.
little bit.
Okay. All right.
Does that
But
make sense?
it should be correct.
So, yeah, bottom line budget request number is fine.
Right,
But the increase looks
Right.
smaller than it really is.
right.
So it goes up by 2. Did you look at the other?
You said it goes up
I
by,
think it's 2.56.
2.56. Instead of 2.48.
2.56.
Instead of 2.48.
So this,
Which is still a
it won't
tremendous job.
it won't affect our overall.
It won't affect what
percentage.
you're asking for.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
going
the
to
same
affect.
thing.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, if, Art, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, Dr. Stella and I went back and forth on this.
It's hard to get your head
You know,
around.
Yeah, we were scratching
And
our
I
head
said,
on
well,
this
if
one.
you do
yeah.
it that way, it doesn't look right. It looks like a huge raise the following year, but we can do that. The total budget stays at 13,829.
Correct.
Right.
So,
Right, that
okay.
doesn't-
So all we're
We
talking
can-
about is the.
We can change that. It takes about 5 minutes.
Just a better reflection.
No problem.
Yeah.
We do
Excellent
that for
point.
the community.
At least I have to say, I got your point.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, no, I got your point. At first I didn't, but I got it.
okay, any other discussion? Oh, I'm sorry. Who? What?
Lisa looked like she.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
She can't look quizzical behind, she thinks so. No, did you have anything else, Lisa? No. Okay, all those in favor?
In manipulating the Excel spreadsheet.
I just want to make sure Lisa's voted.
It's formula based.
Lisa, are you in favor? Okay, all right. All right, so, your budget.
So we'll make that change when we, and bring that to the town with that
Yep.
change.
Yep. Okay. And it does affect the percentage, the final percentage.
Yeah, the final
Yeah,
percentage,
okay.
right.
All right, facilities, I know we have the minutes, anything you want to add?
We had a meeting December 17th. We got an update on the building upgrade, which is mostly punch list work on the building and grounds projects that have been completed and are anticipated. Tools for schools, which although we miss Al, sounds like it's continuing nicely in his absence. Brief update on sustainability, and we'll be adding the pond to the next agenda.
And the frogs, you gotta have frogs apparently if you have a pond. Okay, I think on the building update, we've kind of already gotten that update. We had
Yeah, there'll be,
today.
the team will be working over the vacation, and again, tightening valves, checking things, commissioning. So there's finishing work, but the end is within sight. And I'm sure some of the work will continue into January, but it looks like there's light at the end of the tunnel, as I said so many times, so.
Okay. In finance, I think that, yeah, was covered in the budget. Abe? anything?
Dr. Steinman went to the meeting conference since our last.
Oh, that's right, we haven't mentioned
It was a
it.
very lively event.
Yeah, it was, very good.
And we got to spend time with quite a number of our Amity colleagues.
Oh, really?
Which was
Oh, that was
nice.
nice.
Yeah, it's a very good showing from Amity. And I think we all went to one presentation in particular, the one on
Dr. Sal.
personalized learning. Sort of
Yeah.
looking around, everybody said, this is really terrific. We heard from elementary school kids from Farmington who are horrendous sort of exemplars of the benefits of personalized learning and, sort of the idea of letting these kids take some control, some charge of their own learning experiences.
And I mean, to me, as a MAG parent ancestor, it was reminiscent of some of the great stuff that we do here at Beecher as well. But overall, the conference was very productive.
It was very, very good. They had some very good keynote speakers too. One was Dr. Zhao from the University of Oregon, who's published widely. I think I shared one of his books with you. But again, it was about focusing on creativity and innovation. And he had a good sense of humor. He said it's not about preparing children for college, it's about keeping children out of your basement. In other words, making sure they have meaningful work when they graduate, and that they have the ability. Many young people are creating their own work because of that creativity and innovation. So, and it tied in with personalized learning too, and that's the thing that we'd like to focus on as we move forward with our differentiation and our workshop model and our MAG program, of course. On more personalized learning, and tie that in. The Amity superintendents meet often, as well as principals, and we're having groups of teachers meet too, trying to have that as a strand from pre-K up to 12 as well, having children follow their passions and developing their creativity and innovation.
Okay, upcoming meeting, the SBAC, its uses for children in the classroom, instruction, those were all the things we were interested in. Did anybody think of anything else that they wanted included? Well, this is pretty comprehensive.
I don't know if it would fit in there, but with the STAR testing and how that's used, kind of fit in along those lines, just to sort of know how that works in conjunction.
Okay. And if you want to make that separate, because like just a short separate thing on that, that would be good.
And how much time is being spent, focusing on things that are related to kind of an end of the year SBAC assessment? And, and if that question can't be answered, what efforts are there kind of underway to kind of be keeping close at hand, and understanding how teachers are modifying what they might be doing around knowing that that test is coming up?
Okay, anybody else? Okay, new business, public comment, Marcia? Don't get too excited. Oh, I'm sorry, did you say no? Okay. We are going to have a brief executive session, so if everybody can stay or they can go, because all we're going to do is come